Why, hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Shibo. Today is Thursday, November 10th, 2022. Oh boy. Last time we met for Factorio, I got intermetallics. They are right down here. I have them. There's a few of them now in a box. And they are pretty exclusively going to be used for infrastructure going forward, but I have put them onto the bus. Now, I have updated the bus a little bit in between streams. Basically, I have converted most of it, not quite the whole thing, but most of it into using underground belts. Now, usually at the yellow belt phase, this wouldn't be a great idea, considering the belt length is usually, a gap of 4. We have double that. We have double that thanks to Pyandon's mods adjusting the regular belts. So the gap being 8 is a bit more convenient. The only thing about that, though, is that the gap for pipe to ground, which the whole idea here is that I can, A, get things off of the bus a little bit easier going forward, because I can just build in the gap any splitters to split off stuff from the belt, but it also gives me room to add pipes and pipelines along with having the belt. Because if I'm going to need to have underground belt anyway to run pipes on the same line, may as well make the best use of them, etc., and just not have any straight belt segments to begin with, and have the whole thing ready to go for adding additional pipes. The unfortunate part with pipes is that their max distance is 1 tile larger than the yellow belt max distance belt. So, unfortunately, it's 1 tile below the max length on the piped grounds to keep things at least somewhat symmetrical and consistent for most of this. Up here, it's not that consistent, but definitely down here going forward will be more consistent spacing. So that was like one of the big projects I did between streams. Of course, last time we did set up antimony mining and processing, which I'm backed up on antimony right now. We are not even close to using the like 1.1 antimony oxide that we ultimately produce from processing a belt of ore. We're processing a belt of ore down to 1.1 oxide down at the bus. We're belting the grade 4 to the main bus so that I can more easily provide the plastic over there. But yeah, this is basic pyro stuff at this point for this phase of the game. Like, this is very consistent with all of the other pyro ores processing. It's just it's a lot of automated screeners though. It's a lot of automated screeners though to process a full belt of ore, but it's fine. It's whatever. It being a brand new resource that is likely supposed to be a little bit rarer and harder to process, whatever. That being said, between streams, well, of course, last time after setting up the antimony and after setting a whole bunch of other stuff up, setting up Nexalit, we set up Nexalit last time with tar quenching first, and then went to antimony, set up the oxide, set up vitrolloy as well as iron, Nexalit, antimony special alloy to make intermetallics. Between streams, I have added, basically doubled, the production on these. They're all now also running off of gasoline rather than running off of syngas, just because I wanted originally to set up gasoline but didn't really feel like I had the time to actually run a gasoline pipe all the way down here when I already had a syngas line coming down. So transitioned this to gasoline. I think I've transitioned basically all of my glassworks to gasoline, at least the glassworks that are on the bus. Yeah, these glassworks are now running off of gasoline. I have, in fact, scaled my petri dish production because I actually needed to do some of the other things that I did off screen. I added an additional belt processing of molten glass production. This one is running off of syngas because, the main syngas line that I built out for the antimony, and specifically for the nickel, because we also set up nickel last time out here. Since I needed that big line brought over of syngas just to mine nickel in the first place, I decided, you know what, we'll just use that for the antimony, for the gas cans for the antimony. And so since it was here by the quartz, I decided, you know what, let's just use it to get glass from the glassworks buildings, the molten glass from the glassworks buildings. A note, though, here, we have not set up hot air yet. I will be setting up hot air today, among all of the other stuff that we're going to be doing on the way towards cDNA. We do need hot air to make cDNA, ultimately, as one of the ingredients. I have access to recipes that will improve the output of petri dishes and glass and glassware and optical sets that use hot air. I've got multiple plate output recipes from molten plates into, well, from molten metal into plates that use hot air. I do not intend on using any of them at this point in the game, simply because hot air is a little bit too expensive to produce in adequate amounts, especially on the glass-related hot air recipes. It's basically 1-to-1 hot air and molten glass to improve the output ever so slightly. It's just not worth it. It is absolutely not worth it. Maybe on glassware, but not petri dishes or regular glass. Maybe on glassware, maybe on optical sets, but not the other stuff. Not the other stuff. Yeah, because this is going to end up using a lot of coal, which is most efficiently obtained through raw coal. I think I'll have to build these 20 secondary crushers as well, so that's going to be fun. What mod for loaders? These are deadlocks loaders that I have. Deadlocks stacking, deadlock stacking belt boxes and compact loaders is the mod. So technically I have vanilla item stacking available. I'm sort of using it on stone. But yeah, these are mostly for the loaders in this series. But yeah, 20 secondary crushers, and I have a grand total of 1. Glorious. I will need to start by collecting resources and building some of those, because I will need them. I need steel and glass, and a bunch more duralumin than I already have. I have a bit of a duralumin shortage at the moment. Just a little bit, because it's all going into vitroloi. I had enough for 4! Great. Fantastic. Do I have any more up in here, or have I grabbed it all? I have 500 up there in a box, just hanging out. So I'll grab the stuff that's in the box, just hanging out. But yeah, all of the duralumin is going into the intermetallics chain at the moment until I fill up on intermetallics, and then everything else will stop and I can start to back up on the duralumin again. It's just taking a bit of time for that to happen. So I made 4. That's half as much as I need, or will ultimately need, to get some stuff happening for hot air. But that is a little bit later. I'm not as concerned immediately about that. It's just I will need to do this today if I want any amounts of cDNA. I do need to get into cDNA in order to make our first augs, as well as our first relesia, as well as our first cotton gut. And I will need all 3 of these things in order to continue progression into logistics science. That should be 20. Could have just grabbed steam engines. I do have infinite of that. Other things I've done off screen before we continue, I have scaled up my latex. The latex zone on the wrong side of the bus, but whatever. I scaled this to 1 per second, a grand total of 1 latex per second. Yeah, that was a thing. It is not using the Vrauk food recipe though, so actually I will need even more Vrauk than what I have right now, because I think I'm at 16 paddocks. Pretty sure I'm at 16 paddocks, but yeah, if I were to just swap that over, yeah, that would be 25 paddocks. I would need 40 paddocks. I would need, yeah, and 7 reproductive complexes. because of the difference in the ratio of cocoons into adults. Yeah, I have 16. And I don't think I'm going to scale that out to 40 just to get 1 latex. I'm not planning on using that full 1 latex, and since I'm not using any on the science at the moment, because I believe I have filled an entire chest or close to it. Oh no, they are still producing the 0.2 science, the full output of the research center. I'm at 6,900, 6.9k amounts of science in the box, just hanging out. So I've got a bit of a buffer on the science and the automation science. I should have even more of than this. So we're ready for the next science as much as we can throw at it. Yeah. But point being, I'm going to only use half, so it's not that bad. I'm not that short. I'm just like 4 buildings short to even make the half rubber per second. I think I have all of the buildings that I will need in order to get into the rubber, which I think that's just where we'll start unless I need to set up the borax first. So let me bring up Helmod. We're going to work towards getting into cDNA ultimately today. Just to show this chain, we are going to need to mine and process borax. We are going to need to do that to get into optical sets. We will need hot air to make optical sets. Don't need that much, but I will need more to get into logistic science, because we do need optical sets to get into logistic science as well, I believe. If I'm not terribly mistaken, this should require them as well. Yep, just a little bit of them. So yeah, that's logistics science. It's a few things, just a few steps on that. Yeah. So to get into all of this, hot air and borax and rubber. Those are the 3 main things. You'll see in here that we need iron nextlet antimony special alloy, which I can remove because I already have it. We will need a lot of stuff that I already have. It's drought cocoons, it's petri dishes, glassware. Guess I'll need to bring some glassware down. Ahem. But I don't actually need to perpetually make the cDNA. Do I even need the retrovirus provided onto the bus at this point in time? No, it's just on the cDNA. But I will need the plasmids and the lab instruments and the Zogna and the optical sets and borax. As borax, I think, just so that I route it every which way. Ever think of doing a multi-city block using transport and mining drones? Linked by trains. Inner workings done by transport drones. So, what I have considered is having blocks within a train network that are fed by trains and having robots feed the factories rather than belts. But usually I just use belts until I need the throughput of trains. But what you're suggesting is something a bit larger, right? Just a bit on the larger scale than that, right? Where you have bigger factory blocks that exchange materials with each other through trains, but everything else is just drones. I'm not going to use mining drones. That's not going to happen, but I would use bots, logistic bots, in them. It's just a lot of power, on top of everything else using a lot of power for all of the robots always. But anyway, so this is going to require rubber. We'll start with rubber right over here. This is going to make a half a rubber, which, if you've been paying attention, is nowhere near the amount that I actually need. No, it's way, way more than I actually need. Same in the logistics science. I need a whole of 0.1 to match the 0.1 logistics science that I'll end up making. This is going to make 0.5. So yeah, it's lots of stuff I don't need to particularly worry about. Oh, right. We need to run some pipe. We need to run some pipe. Oh boy. I need to bring down Anthracene oil. I brought down the aromatics ahead of time. I didn't bring down the Anthracene oil. So we'll go and do that, because a lot of these steps are technically already done. These two here of tar tar cracking, those are already done. All the way up here. Just need to bring Anthracene, which at the moment is getting completely obliterated. I think I need to add... Do I need to add anything? No. No, I've got more than 3 on these steps up here. So it's just a matter of collecting all of the Anthracene oil and running it down with an overflow valve. So you... Yeah, I didn't even bother connecting them. Wow, alright. Well, here we go, out this way. Just pick a line, any line. I guess the one next to the other side of the doohickey. That would be great. Yeah. Yeah, on the other side of the carbon dioxide. That would be a little bit easier to work with. Although, there we go. Now to just match up with the CO2 down the entire bus. Where did I park? Down there. Oh boy. But yeah, we'll see what I ultimately decide. It might be better off just to build from the start with the intent on having the factories use logistic robots in independent logistic zones. Just load and unload chests, logistic chests. But, yeah, we're going to need to get into logistic science before having access to the logistic chest tech. What do I do here? Why did I... I don't know. But I will continue to match. Oh, come on, reach. I need more reach. I need reach, dang it. Ugh. You know, these should be here. Both of these should be here. What am I doing? And then that should be there, and that should be there, and that doesn't need to exist. And that needs to exist. This one doesn't really need to exist. Oh, right, it does, because I pull off there. Da-da-da. Going down. Eventually I'll just be able to copy-paste a consistent setup. It would just be a little bit too much work on the existing part of the bus that was not fundamentally designed around having this. It's just retrofit for most of it, and then we get into more consistent setups down here. At least the benefit of having the extra tile of length to work with helps by being able to do that to get out of the way. Though I could just move it, but whatever. Whoops. Right, we are consistent from here on out. I do not need to place all of these, but whatever. I'll finish running it down the rest of the line. And I will need to overflow valve it as well. So, considering those are out of the way, we are going to have to start with a reformer. A reformer that I have right here, and I will need to pull out my pressure pumps and just set that up right about there. Reformer, you are going to give me carbon black from Anthracene oil, and I need you to have a bit of vacuum. Now, vacuum, I will need 25 per second, so I'm going to need 3 of these. Would be nice to have a bit more pipe. Pipe. Go, go. Go, go, gadget. Pipe. I put that there just so I can see it a little bit better. And I'm going to overfill valve here. Ta-da. Power to the everything, and that is carbon black. Oh yeah, steam. Wait, what? Why do I have you in here? Oh, it's for these. I don't care about those. But theoretically, I could actually just use the steam that's going to be output from this multipurpose cracker making polybutadiene. I could actually use this steam at distillation and tar processing. According to Hellmod, it wants to use it, although I think that this does have a temperature minimum of 250 and that this is 150, so technically you can't, even though Hellmod is saying that it can. It's meant to, you're meant to cool the stuffs, the steam, back down to water, and it is a what I refer to as a closed loop system with water converting to steam in the exact same amount as the steam converts back into water. Once you add water, you no longer need to provide water afterwards. However, now this has been a thing from the start, from when I first started playing Pyandon's mods. When I first started playing Pyandon's mods, that first playthrough, we were in version like 0.17 of Factorio, still early access, and there came a point where I was discovering that my closed loop water systems were losing water for some reason. They just magically lost their water every time I would load up the game, basically. If I'm remembering correctly, what I think was happening at that time was that the game was voiding all pipes. It was destroying all fluid in all pipes. I think during like an update, like every update cycle, it was destroying everything in every pipe. So when you had closed loop water systems, if you get rid of the water in it, it's not going to work anymore. And I was getting really, 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 really tired of having to constantly refill these pipes. So I no longer do the closed loop water systems anymore, even though they're a thing that are viable. You can do them. It's somewhat efficient. I don't do that anymore. I always provide a constant supply of water, and I void all of the steam. Which, frankly, it's a bit easier to do that now, considering it's just a gas vent. Oh yeah, and you need titanium. Whoops, would help if I put the right thing in the right place. Titanium, where are you? Here. Right there. Bup, bup, bup. Ta-da. That's so much easier. So much easier now. You just pull something off the bus. And that is going to give me polybutadiene. Good old polybutadiene. Now we can get these heavy oil refineries. Right there. Good old polybutadiene. This is the first of a few recipes that are available for making rubber, and the worst ratio of latex into rubber. As time goes on, we will get access to superior recipes that will give us a much better ratio of latex into rubber. But for now, we have to deal with this 1-to-1. This stupid 1-to-1 ratio. What is that rate? I'll use electrics for that. There's your power. Just add latex and carbon black. Glorious. Beautiful stuffs. I'm going to do something a little bit like this, so that this can be the latex. Glorious latex. Where is latex? Latex is all the way the heck over here. I'm gonna have to do probably a little bit of shenaniganery, such as shifting those up a little bit. And there's the, what should be the latex going through. When I add melamine, this is going to be extremely difficult to tell the difference. Because melamine is also a nondescript white rectangle. A nondescript white rectangle. The only difference is that the latex points in one diagonal and melamine points in the other diagonal. Good luck remembering which is which. I guess melamine is also more of a pure white, whereas this one is more of an ivory white color. A little bit more yellow. Alright, well, that is, in fact, rubber online. Now, rubber unlocks a bit more than just the ability to get into cDNA. Rubber can be used to make rubber stoppers. That's one thing we can use it for. It does absolutely nothing for us at the moment, I think, maybe besides getting rid of the requirement for coal to make rubber stoppers. Yeah, that is the main thing that it does. So we had 2 latex into 4, which is 1:2, and here we have 1:2, so it's still the same ratio of latex to rubber stoppers, but we no longer need any of that 5 coal per 4 stoppers. So this is an objectively better recipe in that you don't need to spend coal as a resource to make the rubber stoppers anymore. But it's also not that great right now when it's 1-to-1 latex into rubber. Of course, the further you get into the game, the better rubber recipes you'll get, and the better the ratio will be latex into rubber, so that this becomes just fundamentally better as you get better at rubber processing going. For now, though, into a chest, and as for other rubber uses, it's used to make belt, it's used to make mechanical parts, it's used to make lab instruments, it's these yaw drives, and yeah, in particular, where is belt? Oh, it's used to make red wires and green wires, that's a thing. Where's belt? Belt! Yeah, belts. Long-headed inserters. I'll still need chromium for these, but long-headed inserters, you know, this entire time I've been playing, like nearly 100 hours in this save, no long-headed inserters at all, just regular inserters. It's also, the belts are making bots, of course. You need it for this VOT. You need them for a better engine unit recipe. This recipe is significantly faster than the default one, although it is a duralumin sink, rather than an aluminium sink, mind you, but you still need aluminium. Which, oh, and there's the much more efficient transport belt recipe. This is a significant difference in the efficiency for making transport belts, straight belts. Same with the fast one, and same for the express one. Similarly with fast inserters here, you get 15 fast inserters from 5 inserters at a bit more complexity, mind you, and lubricant, but it's another belt rubber improvement. After all of that, next on the agenda is Borax. Glorious, beautiful Borax. Have I built enough washers? I think I have. And I should have at least 11 crystal mines as well. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I did put this down. This is, you can barely see it on here. That's the one downside of collectors. The big, huge, massive downside of collectors is you just can't freaking see them. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. You just can't freaking see them on top of the bioreserve, which absolutely sucks. But this is 4 yellow belts of bioreserve native flora mining. Just, 4 additional belts of native flora mining, just for reasons that will eventually become apparent, I hope. Now, Borax. Where are we going to mine Borax? I'm going here. This is the most convenient location for me to mine Borax because it is along my bus where I have already brought syngas. And of course, we need syngas in order to mine Borax. Fortunately, we don't need to worry too much about the processing of the Borax. It is just water into washers and voiding the muddy sludge, and then the washed Borax is what we will actually run on the bus. I just need to get the pipe right, so I need to go and grab more pipe to ground, I think, unless I have a few units here. The issue is I need to maintain the spacing, so I'm going to do a little bit of this. And I do want to have the underground belts there so that I have that as my spacer and I know where things are. There we go. That is, as they say, that. This will make it easier for me to pull it off. I'm going to sneeze. Oh boy. Sneezy, sneezy. Alright, so over here. Question of the day. Has King Arthur fixed/changed borax mining? Oh boy, that is the glorious question of the day. So, borax. The thing about this resource, A, it requires syngas, but B, it is rather unique. At least it used to be rather unique in that it outputs multiple units of ore each cycle. I figured as much. So, this was something that King Arthur said was going to be changed. Let's see if it's actually been changed. Among all the other stuff, or if it just got left by the wayside. So this thing is supposed to output, like, previously it would output, like, 3 units of ore at a time. Okay, it's confirmed it has not been changed. In the slightest. So borax is exactly the same, which means it follows the fundamental issues that it's always had. In that you're never going to get the actual throughput of these mines if you are putting it directly onto a belt. This is the productivity issue in a nutshell as well. You are almost never going to end up with the true throughput of any mining drill if you're offloading directly onto a belt when you have productivity ticks happening where multiple units of ore are trying to be output onto the belt on the exact same frame. The machine has to wait for the output to completely clear before it starts the next mining operation, which ever so slightly slows down the machine compared to the theoretical maximum. So when it comes to borax outputting 3 units at a time, that is especially noticeable when you are at yellow belts in particular. It becomes less of an issue the faster your belts are, because it can clear it out faster, but you're still going to have a wait period for it to completely offload all of the ore that it has in it before it starts the new cycle. However, mining drills can output all units of ore instantaneously into a box, no matter what. So, we offload into a box, and then just use a loader to pull out from said box. You could theoretically do this with inserters to get the throughput as well from them, but I just use the loaders, frankly. It's similar in Angels. If you are using Angel's Infinite Ores setting, and all the ores are a percentage resource, there was a change to how Factorio handles percentage-based solid resources. And yeah, if you have that and the percentage is greater than 100%, you are going to output multiple units of ore per cycle, And in order to get the full throughput of that, you can throw it into a box and then have loaders unloading from said box. And depending on how much density you have, you could put a really big box with a whole bunch of loaders around it and still not get all the throughput out of the one mining drill. It's a little insane. And maybe we'll see some of that once we can use some Bob's modules in the very late game, where we're actually going to need some throughput. When we'll actually need throughput. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this here. Put down the washers. I don't quite think I have enough piped around. Whoops. Oh, more resources are spawning. Turns out I just barely had enough. Alright. Void. Hello, welcome to the stream. We're making borax. You missed rubber. Rubber was quick. Now we're working on borax. Ooh, I will need more power poles soon. And we have confirmed that borax appears to be the same as it's always been. It has not been touched, even though King Arthur had said at one point a long time ago that it was going to be looked at eventually. You know, and one would think that during the process of completely overhauling the entire mod set, that would have come up at some point, but apparently it has not. So, yeah, we still have this weird output, and I don't even think it's supposed to be, like, always 3. It's like there's weirdness. There is weirdness involved with borax. It just tends to be 3. Hello, my dolly. My dolly. Hey. Hey, kitty. You've just joined. How's doll? Focus. There's the kitty. You're going up? You gonna go up? Yes, she's gonna go up. Hello, dolly. How's my baby? You're gonna settle? You're gonna settle? Yeah. Good morning. It's nap time for kitties. Yes, there she goes. Eyes closed. Eyes are closed. Okay. Do this. Get the borax out. Get it provided on the bus. Add a lane to the bus. Get that brought all the way up because I will need it at iron. Because yeah, this is a resource I have been very much looking forward to having access to. This has been the, I believe, final blocking resource for getting into molten casting. I mean, yeah, technically sand castings are a thing that use creosote that we technically haven't made yet, but that's not as important as getting into the borax. Oh, whoops. So 11 of these, yeah, up to 15.71, so we'll get 15 out of this. I'm gonna need a few more lines of this. That's gonna be on the agenda for scaling. We're gonna need a little bit more than just 15, but for now we will live with 15. And yeah, I am probably not going to use this niobium. At least not that much of the niobium. I pull across. Fortunately, I am in between where my undergrounds will be. And as for the extent, that being the extent, I need to get out all the way to there. Oh boy, I'm gonna need some underground belt, aren't I? Yeah. Am I going off the rails again? Just maybe a little bit, but that's all of them. I am going to use rails from a technical standpoint, but are we going a little bit crazy? Yes, we are going a little bit crazy. I'm going to do my rail transition after logistics science. We're not going to go. We're not going to go all the way up to circuit 2s, but I am going to go up to logistics science before fully committing to a transition to rails, because I want robots to help me build the rail infrastructure. That is the biggest factor at this point, is my ability to create rail infrastructure. All right, it was here. I was like, I'm pretty sure we're close. There we go. But the bus is still going to be huge. Bus is going to be huge. It's always going to be huge. Pretty much no matter when you do the transition to rails. That's just a constant in life. Always going to have a massive bus. I just regret not planning out. You know, that's going to be a problem. I'm going to have to go around. I just regret not planning out a minimum 80 width bus, 80 belt width bus plus spacing for pipes on their own, plus gaps between the actual stuff. But considering the map had so much water on it, I wasn't really gonna be able to find a spot that was that wide anyway to work around. Yeah, the biggest tedium will be transitioning and getting everything that's on the bus off the bus and onto the train network. That is going to be a very slow and arduous process, but it's not all necessary immediately. That's one saving grace about it is, yeah, there's some stuff that's on the bus that doesn't really need to come off the bus for a good while. So I'm not going to be as concerned about that transition, because the bus itself will feed the mall for quite some time. Because you know the bot based mall is going to be somewhere down here, right? It's going to be somewhere down here when I eventually terminate the main bus, and the main bus will feed it until I have the opportunity to scale and transition the stuff that's on it onto the rail network. Okay, we have Borax. Congratulations, we have Borax. We need hot air. That is the next order of operations. How far does ModPat now make you go before you get logistic bots? It's logistics science. It's the same as it's always been. It's just that there's an extra science level that's been added before getting into logistics science. Yeah, we don't unlock logistics bots until, where even is it? Where even are you? Here. Logistic robots. We will need to get into nitrogen, drill heads, nichrome. That's a new nichrome icon. Filtration, coal processing to organic solvent, niobium, and then we can unlock logistic robots, which need nichrome and niobium. Note, you need niobium for logistics bots. That's great, just fantastic. We'll need to set up refined syngas to get niobium and organic solvent with ammonia for the actual processing of niobium, and have salt and all of that good stuff. And then logistics system to actually get the chests after that. So, you know, logistics science. Hello, Ollie. Papa? Big boy? Big boy? Yeah? Yeah, that's my hand. You brought a baby. You brought his baby. Yeah, he brought his baby. His little chipmunk. He brought his little chipmunk. Ollie? Yeah, he brought his toy. His baby. He's got the chipmunk, and Dolly's got the gray one. It's the same exact toy, it's just gray. Gray coloration, gray and black. It's like the lemur, because it's like ringtail. Yeah, you're gonna settle? You're gonna settle and you can have your baby with you? And Dolly's just watching. Yeah, Dolly's just watching from behind. Yeah, we got the babies. Okay. This. Oh god, this. So, technically, sorta doing it already up here. Sorta got a few secondary crushers running up here already. With excess voiding. So I could do this up here. But that would be a hell of a pipe to run. It would be far easier to mine here and run a pipe down the bus. There's no other convenient rock hole because it's still going to be a long pipe regardless. So it's either we pipe from up here. Well, really, this setup would probably be like in here or here, pulling 2 belts. I will need to make at least 8 electric mining drills for this. I have all of the secondary crushers that I need. I have the high pressure furnaces that I need. I need to make regenerative heat exchangers. These guys. So let's go and head on up to my stockpiles. Alright, stockpile. So I can very easily bring a pipeline from way up top. As you saw, I can't so easily bring a belt line up with this in the way. I have to like go around it, figure out a way around this, or shift buildings or something like that. At some point, I'll figure out a way. Because I do need to get Borax up somehow. Somehow, maybe put it in here, this line. This is just a line that I'm not going to have any collidable objects on. I can have belt on this. I'm not so vain as to say that this isn't supposed to have anything ever on it. It's just Yeah, I just don't want to collide with things. It's my driveway. It's my road. It's not a sidewalk, it's a road. And I don't want collidables on my road. Everything else is free game, though. Heresy! Yeah. Whatever. I could just paint the whole thing in brick. And then we won't even have a road anymore. It'd just be 100% brick everywhere. Okay, even more mining of rock hole. Oh joy, oh bliss. Of course, have a tile off. You know what? A line there. Where's my power? Up. What science are we currently on? We are technically done with PyScience 1, which, for all intents and purposes, is the old automation science. So they added a level of science in the form of PyScience 1 as well as automation science. They moved and created a new automation science at the beginning of the game and pushed and made a little bit different the process for creating what was automation science in the form of PyScience 1. The next level is logistics science. So that'll be the third science pack. So we are in the second one at the moment of many, because after logistics science, there's going to be a PyScience pack 2 and chemical science pack, and then a PyScience pack 3, which is the old PyScience. And production science pack, and a PyScience pack 4, and a utility science, and then a space science. Yeah, the PyScience pack 3 appears to be the old PyScience. At least in terms of the icon. In terms of the icon, it's the old one. This is most definitely not the old PyScience recipe. Let's make that completely clear. This is chaos incarnate. This is chaos. It's a new icon for neodymium magnets. Yeah. I think PyScience 2 is technically going to be what was the old PyScience, and they've added Zippier eggs to it. Great. Oh, it's 400 moss to make 18 science packs. Does it address any of the performance problems? I highly doubt it. The tendency is to make the performance problems even worse as time goes on, and as more updates happen and things get added. It's generally speaking, it'll get worse. It's never going to get better. Yeah, so they've put casein and Zippier eggs in here. That's a big one. They added the Arcot honey, I think, a long time ago. Pretty sure that Arcot honey was put into something a while back, like PyScience. But yeah, this is a lot too. So the research scaling, I'm actually not that. I'm okay with, generally. Although, 6321 for Miltex. 6321. That's interesting. Going up to 6 on the automation, but I mean, it's so easy to make. By that phase of the game, the automation and the pi science and logistics science are really easy to make anyway. I would say that this is better for folks because it means that you can consistently keep making like 0.1 of the next level of science without having to go overboard on the previous levels. Okay, where did I put those mines? Right here. I need to run these belts somewhere. You know, somewhere. Actually, I need to find, like, is there any belt that I'm not actually using? Because there might actually be something somewhere I'm not actually using anymore. Wouldn't put it past me. But I think I am using all of them to some extent. Oh yeah, this. Yeah, we have an issue with a lack of aluminium, which I am solving through the actions we're taking today. Because in order to improve production of aluminium, I need molten aluminium, which means borax. So yeah, I need to do this process. Oh yeah, I didn't mention. I didn't even mention. I do need to do this process. I'm gonna likely get like a bit more than just 1.5, enough to sustain duralumin production on here. We don't really need to look at the amount of borax required for this, but yeah. Yeah, this is the thing. That's a lot of coke for this. But the main thing was borax. Yeah, sand castings. It's sand and creosote in a tar processing unit. Not the most thrilling thing in the world there. Ollie left. He jumped down. Who knows? But this is our next step. I didn't mention that I have set up zinc grade 2 processing up here off between streams. So there it is. It's simple, really. Very, very small little build, grade 2. The key part of this is that it is eating iron to do this. Iron as iron sticks to process the ore into grade 1 zinc as well as stone and soil byproducts in these ball mills. I needed intermetallics to build the ball mills, and I needed intermetallics to build the automated factory, and I needed intermetallics to build impact crushers. How's it going? How to get till circuits? What do you mean? Because I have circuits. I have circuits. How long until the next circuit? I have no idea. I have circuits though. I have circuits automated. We are beyond that at this point. Yeah, we've got where here we've got circuits. They've been automated for a while. Yeah, you gotta go to what was that? Stream 2? No, not stream 2. Stream 3, I think. 3 or 4. We got circuits. We got them really early. The timing is different now on circuits. Yeah, timing is very, very different. No, we have circuits. We have our second science level already. And we are putting the work in to get into the next level of science. Which will be logistic science. I know it sounds a little weird that the third science is logistic science, but that's how it is now. They added a pi science into the mix as the second science. So I'm going to build here to get into the hot air. Just go back and get this pin up. I have 2 lines of 10. I could just copy this, and I think I will do that. Looks like I didn't actually use because it is only 1 per second, and I do need power on these, so we'll just get rid of all that. Paste there. And then, like, copy that part. Whoops. There we go. That will do, I hope. One. Two. Because we need a lot. And all of this is to make a grand total of 10 hot air. Just to be completely clear about that, this makes 10. Oh, I need more. I need more power poles. Where did I park? Way up there. So let's get more power poles. Dolly is snoring behind me. Stop! We're here! We're here! Alright, we have enough. We have enough power poles. At least we better. Going on up and over. This way is the way. Fun! Alright. Glorious, beautiful stuffs. Get the car out of the way. So for those who have been paying attention and who remember the way things used to be, yeah, they got rid of the recipe that allowed you to burn stone bricks to make hot air in its entirety. So now you must do this in order to get hot air at the beginning of the game. you that way. I need to void these things. Yeah, I'll do individual voids. I need pipe. So you have to do this to get hot air. You have to do this process to get hot air now. And as you can see, it is a little bit painful on the overall output of hot air. When it's 20 raw coal into 10 hot air, that's difficult. That's abysmal. What can I get rid of? That. That? Okay. Ultimately, it's going to be a lot of power. It'll be very power hungry, as will everything else in the entire base. Just making 10 is using 15 megawatts. If you extrapolate that to 100, that'll be 150 megawatts. But saving grace here is I do have ore patches that are, a little bit large. So, I have ore patches that are a bit large, and I have the capacity to provide enough raw coal to feed a bit of hot air. The issue is 20 secondary crushers. This is now the issue. It's not so much the space that it requires. It's not so much the fact that it is 20. It is the extreme amount of material cost that it takes to build 20 of these in the first place. These things are not cheap. They are not cheap. They are 20 duralumin each and 50 small parts each, plus a steam engine and 40 steel plates. They're not particularly cheap overall. In terms of the steel specifically, remembering that it's 10 to 1 of iron plates to steel plates. So that's like 400 more iron plates added to the cost of this. So, you're looking at 517 iron plates, along with the 46 copper, the 25 circuits, the 20 duralumin, and the 2 glass. It's not the most expensive item, but when you're talking about needing to build 20 of that item, it adds up quite quickly. Okay, the idea here, do I even have boilers? Not enough boilers, but I have boilers. We're going to boiler void this byproduct fuel. Now, this stuff is fuel value 6. So just to get an idea, when these consume 3.7, that'll be 0.62 or 0.616 repeating items per second per boiler. And we have 6 2/3 of this crushed coal. So we need 11 boilers. In order to get rid of them all. And I did say that that was a number that was greater than 0.6. So I will need electrics on here for input and output. Remembering that, yeah, this does produce ash. Because of course it also produces ash. Why would it not produce ash? It's a coal product. Let's ignore the fact that wood does not produce ash, even though, you know. Coal is in fact wood. In a different form. Derived from... as is oil, but whatever. Ash. Filter ash. Filter ash. Where's ash? Ash. I'm blind. I am blind. Oh, ash. Whitelist. Now, saving grace, this will only produce 0.67 per, up to, minus a little bit on that last one. So it's going to produce 1 to 1. 1 to 1, so it's not even a lane of ash here. I know I can search, but I want to memorize the exact location so I don't have to search every time. It's far faster if you just know the spot instead of having to type it every time. Doesn't matter how fast you type, it's still going to be faster if you just know where it is to begin with. And in this menu, the spot will never change, because this shows everything, even if you haven't unlocked it yet. So, common items like ash, I should really remember the spot for up here. Ash and gravel down here, and the iron oxide. These specific spots, just remembering the general locations of is going to be faster, because they are, you know, they're byproducts. We need to kill them. Now I will search for coal dust, because that's another one I should learn as well. Coal dust, I think it was... it's here. It's here. It's next to chromium and coarse fraction. Gosh, and I'll have to remember what the new drill head icon looks like, because that looks nothing like the original drill head icon. Okay, we have to deal with less of this too, but it's also 3 megajoules. Which means, yeah, 2 of these will be fine. Whoops. Since they use 3.6 or 3.7 megawatts each, you know, that'll be enough, just having the 2 of those. Okay, voiding, and more voiding. Goodbye, Steam. There's the water. We need to get rid of the ash. Grab my ash voiding blueprint. Stick it here. Now, a trick I will do is I will actually pull off some of the stuff that's getting voided anyway, and use it as my fuel. For the burning line. Now this is a bit overkill for 6. This does a full belt. 6? I mean 8. I think I have to lane balance this. Yeah, it's going to be 8.6 repeating. 8 2/3. Total, that is a number that is greater than 7.5. Duh. You are first. Need to grab these from my car. The heckle. Those. I need them. Oh boy, then I'm remembering. Oh hey, we need to do the exact same thing with the coke output. Oh boy. Well, it is a good thing that I have 15 per second. You know what? I take this back. We're gonna burn the coke here. Yeah, we're gonna use the coke to fuel this as well as burn it. The coke is another 5 megajoule item, so that one's gonna need to be more than 5.34 boilers to get rid of it. But we'll have to deal with 5.34 ash. That is the issue there. I'll just have to lane balance it. Beforehand. And that'll just work. That will just work. Just shift that over a little bit. Decide that I'm gonna actually have loaders here. Power to the everything. Alright, that is going to provide the fuel for you overall. Even though they have the crushed coal, they'll burn through it and they'll start pulling in coke eventually. Now for coke, that's 1.35 boilers per unit coke. So I need 8 boilers. Up to 8 to get rid of the remaining coke. Bear in mind, you need this entire infrastructure every single time you want 10 hot air. And we're not done yet. Really? Come on. You can do it. You can do it, nanobots. Okay. There we go. Ta-da. Whoops. That is coke oven gas. Fully automated. Now to run the regenerative heat exchangers. Okay. Coke oven gas. There will be a way to reheat coke oven gas, but it's not available yet. Yeah, it is. It is not, in fact, available yet. It's you. Hey, at least they changed it. It's now using hot molten salt and molten salt as 1-to-1. So you just need to worry about the power involved in heating the molten salt. So that's nice. Unfortunately, what is it really used for doesn't tell you the temperatures on this. We actually have to go into Hell mod in order to see the recipes in their entirety. I should have searched for coke oven. So it's any coke oven gas that is less than or equal to 100 degrees Celsius with basically 1000 degree C hot molten salt makes 500 C coke oven gas. So keeping in mind that this will output 500 degree coke oven gas, which is used on the warmer stone bricks. It is used for warmer stone bricks. Now, 500 is what you get out of red hot coke. And is that it? Oh, it's using outlet gas 4, right? I forget about that all the time. They just change the fluid on you to do the hot stone bricks. Yeah, that one's going to be a completely different chain with completely different way of reheating the outlet gas. Let's actually have a look at the outlet gas. How do we... Ah! Well, fortunately enough, the outlet gas, which there will be the option to use outlet gas instead of coke oven gas, it looks like, for all the rest of these. That'll be decent enough. You can reheat it in the same way as reheating coke oven gas using molten salt. In this case, the hot molten salt needs to be 2000 C rather than 1000 C. And you still lose 5. You still lose 5. So no matter what, you will always need the entire infrastructure of creating the gas in the first place, be it coke oven gas or outlet gas 4. You will always need that infrastructure set up. It doesn't need to be as big, but you'll always at least need a line making it on top of spending all that power, or what could be power, on this loop, which is why I've never been that much of a fan of doing that loop in the first place. We are now halfway through the stream. It looks like I sold something. Yay! I sold something on eBay. Anyway, today is definitely a day I would like to take the break, but I would like to also set this up, finish setting this up. So I'm going to bring this, do this, do that. For now, since we do not have the ability to recycle the cold oven gas, I do have to void it, unfortunately. And we are going to need stone bricks. We are also going to need this guy that is going to take in the warm stone bricks, output stone bricks, just goes up and back over. Of course, it's a number that is greater than 0.6 on this, so blah. And then that is going to need 10 pressured air. That's like less than the other recipe that destroyed the stone bricks, so there's at least that going for it. And that, as they say, is that. I just need to provide it with a source of stone bricks. If that's going to be enough, I don't know. It's 5 per cycle. We need enough to fill the belts, basically. But technically speaking, we do now have hot air. Yeah, as long as we have at least 20 stone bricks, it'll be able to do a cycle. And since this makes up to 75, and we're only going for 10, I think we are in fact good now. So with that, being halfway through the stream, that's your infrastructure to make 10 hot air per second. Just 10. There you go. That's the thing. If it looks like it's a bit much, you would be correct that it is a bit much. With that, I'm going to take a brief few-minute break, and when I come back, we are going to be working directly towards cDNA at this point, because I think that's all of the individual separate things that we needed to do to start directly working towards this at this point. Hot air was the last. Sort of do need to get the glassware onto the bus still. Excess amounts of glassware onto the bus. I need to change that to gasoline. And yeah, so this process will be next. And then we'll work on getting into mechanical parts or something after this. I guess fish oil for mechanical parts in particular. That would be nice to get into. So I'll be back in just a couple of minutes. I have returned. Welcome back. We've still got Dolly behind me. Yeah, we've still got the Dolly, and in fact, I found her baby. Her baby was on the floor, out in the den, right behind me. Yeah, it's your baby. Yeah, it's your baby. That's your baby. You know that's your baby, huh? You're gonna go after your baby. You're gonna get your baby. Yeah, you see why I call this one like the lemur? Why I call this one lemur? It's got its ringtail. Yeah. Oh, it fell. It fell, baby. Yeah, you want it. You want to bite it. You want to bite it. And so his is chipmunk, because, well, that looks like a chipmunk to me. I don't know about you. That looks like a chipmunk to me. Yeah, you got your baby. Bite. It fell. Hey, you. Hey, you. You gotta bite it. You gotta toss it. Are you gonna toss it? No, it landed behind me. Hey, you. There. That's your baby. Yeah, that's your baby. There you go. Right behind my head. She doesn't care. She doesn't care about me being here. She's gonna play. Yeah, she's gonna play. Okay, moving on. We need cDNA. That is our next key ingredient here. And now that I have existent amounts of hot air, thank God, finally, we need to spend a little bit of it. Note that I'm making 10, and I totally only really need 1.7, or blah, yeah, 1.0, or yeah, 1.7. 1.7. Whew. No, not even 1.7, 1.07. Yeah, 1.07. Less than 1.1. Alright, well, we gotta run this pipe down. That's one of the steps forward here. Doesn't really matter where I put this pipe, so it's gonna go there. I have decided that it's gonna go there, and we're gonna try to get this eventually aligned with the rest of the stuff right here. Yeah, so I'm gonna copy that so I get the spacing right. And we gotta pull this all the way down the bus. This may take a couple of minutes to pull it down. You know, I think while I'm still here near the top of the bus, I will go ahead and get additional pipe to ground, because we are running a little low at 64. Like, isn't that just a full stack and then some? Yes, but I do need more. I need a few stacks. I will want more. Always need more pipe to ground. Infinite pipe to ground. Now I won't have to worry for a little bit. Did you drop it? Yes. Yes, you dropped it. Yeah, meow. 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 Yeah, you dropped your baby. You went and you tossed your baby. Yeah. There you go. You went and you tossed it. She's just gonna toss it again. Happens all the time. We go out of our way to make sure that both the babies are up on their cat tree by the window in our living room. Every time we come back, one or both are gone, missing, and usually hers is on the floor, right by the cat tree. She goes in and she knocks it down every time. Every time. Hey, you're getting a little bit Feisty. There it goes. It's on the floor. I'm not gonna grab it again. I'm not gonna pick it up again. If you want it, you gotta go get it. You gotta go get it if you want it. Why? I see why. Ooh, that sucks. Humma. Humma. Okay. Down one. That will do. Get back on track with the pattern. Yeah, I've left the car behind. I need more precision in my positioning. And there's collidables in here that I would rather not collide with. And it's easier for me if I'm physically here and not at the road. Okay, I think from here on out it might be that one tile away. And wouldn't you know it, we've made it where we needed to go. We made it! Good. Glorious stuff. I do need to do all of this. I need to go back to my car because it has all the infrastructure that I need for all of this. I did build, I think, everything that I need for this. I am running a little bit low on sinkholes, though, and gas vents. I would like more. So I'll head back up, get to the big section of buffers. Hello, buffers! I need some steel, apparently, and some stone bricks. There we go. Make some of those. Grab that. Some of those. More bricks! There we go. Better. Down. Alright, what do I need? I need my electrolyzers. Oh, I'm missing a glassworks. Okay. Oh yeah, speaking of glassworks, I need to get the glassware out of glassware and bring that down. So, all right, we need to build a glassworks. Do I have what I need for that? I do have what I need for one of them, which is exactly what I need. So, all right, we'll go down. Got glassworks. Do I have? I think I used the last of my pressure pumps. So I'll have those. I have the assemblers, burner assemblers. Note that, yeah, I could use automated factories instead of burner assembling machines, but I'd rather not. I would rather not. Especially since I have enough wood for now. I don't need the throughput of the larger assembling machines, and I will need the larger electric assembling machines to make more complex recipes that require multiple ingredients. I think anything that needs more than 4 solid ingredients has to be made using the automated factory. I think that's the limit now. So I should have incubator, I should have biofactory, I should have gene lab, And that should be all of the infrastructure that I need. Good. Now, to pull down this stuff that is excess. Well, that's gonna be fun. We can't stretch across that. Oh, well. Alright, that'll get me across there. And down this way. With existent amounts of our glassware, rather than having to make it again. Although part of me is considering as much of a pain in the rear end that it will be to take that entire latex infrastructure and move it to the correct side of the bus. I really don't want to, but I may have to. May not have much of a choice but to move that entire infrastructure here to this side of the bus and then delete all of this. I really do not want to, though. Oh yeah, rubber. Rubber on the bus. Okay. Let's go. Step 1. Oh, I didn't actually break down the hydrogen, did I? Nope, of course not. Why would I? Why would I have broken down the hydrogen? Fortunately, I do have, from antimony processing, hydrogen up here that is getting voided. Because of that, I'm going to have to do this if I want to actually use this hydrogen for anything. And I need to decide, you know what, we're going to put that there. And run this pipe down. Remember that I cannot actually click drag this. That's the main downside here on this specific spacing. Can't actually click drag on the pipes. I can click drag on the underground belts to lay new belts down. Can't do that with the pipes in order to maintain consistent spacing with respect to the belts, since they are one tile different in their max reach. That's all that it needed, was one tile difference for it to screw up everything. Alright. Add that in. Add in some borax from way over here. And that is diborane gas. Go over 1 because we need water. Yeah, they do use 10.33 megawatts each. I mean, they always used quite a bit of power, but now it's even more power. And that is going to be the boric acid. From there, do I need boric acid as boric acid? I don't think so. No, I need it as boron trioxide. We need to add coke. Oh boy, adding coke. You know what? That is not a great place to bring it in. One tile down would be a little bit easier to work with. Actually, none of that is easy to work with. This one's better. Alright, that will be boron trioxide. Boron trioxide. Sorta needs to get put on the bus. For logistics science later. The bus continues to grow. Always growing, this bus. Okay, that's... How much do you use? Not that much, so there you go. Enjoy the boron dioxide. What will use it? Oh yeah, the optical sets right here. That's the hot air recipe for the optical sets. It didn't need to be the hot air recipe. In fact, it's probably not in my best interest for it to be the hot air recipe, but I'm gonna do it anyway. For this one specifically. I've noticed an issue. Pulling off steam is going to be fun. If I ever need to pull off steam, I have to do that. I have to do it that way. Because I'm not going to build a collidable object on the road. That's gonna be fun. If I do need to pull steam off. Yeah, I'll move these there. Okay, that just needs fuel. And there you go. Gasoline. Good old gasoline. That is optical sets, which, if you've been paying attention, absolutely needs to be put onto the main bus as well. So yet another item added onto the main bus. Okay. With those out of the way, you know what? I'm going to just put all of it onto the main bus, and we'll pull off when we need it. All the way at the lab instruments. I want to make a note here with the lab instruments. Before pi alternative energy, the state of the early game regarding lab instruments was that you needed them. Thank you so much for subscribing. You used to need a certain amount of lab instruments for this process to make cDNA so that you could progress into automating circuits. Because the creatures that are now needed in logistics science and are still needed in logistics science used to be required to get into the first circuit level. You needed augs to get into circuits. At the very least, augs, the first ones, I believe, needed cDNA or something along those lines, and you needed to get lab instruments to get cDNA. So you were forced to handcraft, because you could also handcraft circuits then. You were forced to handcraft the circuits and not have lab instruments be automated yet. You were not able to fully automate lab instruments, which really meant you couldn't automate anything that uses them. But you don't need to automate cDNA. You just need a specific amount of them to make your first augs. And in this case, now, your first augs and Relesia and cotton gut to progress into the next level of science. cDNA does not get consistently used for quite some time. However, plasmids and lab instruments do, and Zogna, they do get used, and optical sets, they do get used consistently. So the requisite components we do want to automate as much as we can, aka all of it. So the next step to get into will be Zogna. Zogna will require lamps, and lamps will require me to pull out some copper. Copper for lamps. Okay. We need copper and iron plates and glass and fuel, which will be wood. Alright, copper. Where is wood? There we go. Bring the copper over. Over here we need copper, iron, and the cables and glass. I'll do iron, glass, copper, wood, just like before. I want to have that down a little bit. Because I'm thinking about, you know, in the future where I'm probably going to have a bunch of pipes sitting there blocking me. And I'd rather not do weird shenanigans. I'm still going to have to do weird shenanigans, but we'll be fine. Speaking of weird shenanigans, right. Weird shenanigans. Shenanigans. But hey, it's fine. It's fine, really. Yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna throw excess into a box, or pull from a box, whatever. Because I'm pretty sure this is gonna make more than what I need. And then I have lamps. Not like I really have much of a use for lamps, but anyway. Zogna! Praise the Zog. So this stuff represents a microbe that exists on wood, and you are quite literally blowing wood and incubating the Zogna that come off of it on petri dishes. So this recipe represents that you are like consuming the wood by blowing air over the wood and on blowing the initial bacteria that are on it onto petri dishes and then heating it up, consuming lamps to grow more of this Zogna bacteria. It's an interesting concept, to say the least. We are going to need power over here, and we are going to need to provide wood and petri dishes. So pull that there, not that position, and then pull this at you there and over and in. See how easy it is to pull things off the line when they're all underground belts. I do wish there was a bigger gap between them, but we'll get there eventually. And yeah, we're making a whole, up to 4, not quite. I don't think I have 0.4 petri dishes spare for that. I have all the other stuff for it, so I don't see why it wouldn't be 4 in total on the Zogna bacteria. I'll have to position this up top and like do things properly when I do need more than 4 Zogna. But for now, I don't. So all of that is done. Next, it will be lab instruments. Yeah, because we're working our way towards plasmids with this. So you need iron, nextlet, antimony special alloy. Glorious, as well as circuits and tin. Oh boy. Well, there's circuits. Here's tin. So there you go, circuits and tin. Actually would want to load that in. And then, arg, I need to do that on the wood. No getting out of blocking stuff here. So that's going to be fun later. Then I need to pull in the alloy. Of course I'm out of underground belt. Of course I've used all of my underground belts. Where did I park the car again? Way up there, alright. Time for a hike. Now, I've actually got the underground belts automated really close by. Relatively. They're before getting to my car, so they're like right here. Hi. I've got an entire box of underground belts. Let's take the car this time, as I will need to be back for belt. Regular belt this time. Oh boy, we're here. Stop. Stop. Okay, this is interesting. So I put vitrolloy and the special alloy on the same. That's not the position I needed. On the same doohickey, so I need to filter out the special alloy. Oh boy. That's a lot of words. Molybdenum, silicon, titanium, aluminium, nexalate special alloy. Mosaitai alne special alloy. And then you have Nyaltai special alloy. And then you have Nezigad special alloy. Gadolinium. That's a thing now, apparently. So we've got a few special alloys. They're special. They're special. So very special, these alloys. Okay. Next up, we got this guy. Might want to lower that down just a little bit more. Okay. You will need optical sets, rubber, and small parts plus fuel. Alright, well, grab this. Same as always. There's our fuel. And I guess since small parts are literally right next door, that's where I'll grab them. Then we just need optical sets plus rubber brought over. Alright, optical sets and rubber. They're still up here. Alright, this is the line. This is the line. I guess I'll grab that, put it on this alignment. But it's not quite correct. Correct on one part, but not the other. That's better. Okay, that is lab instruments. Which, wouldn't you know it, that's the next item that needs to be put onto the bus. All the way over here. That's just a few things getting added onto the bus now. Oh boy. I have not put incubated petri dishes onto the bus. I just thought of that. Just now. Like, wait a minute. This is incubated petri dishes that these require. I have regular petri dishes, and I have not built incubators. Wonderful. Okay, we need to go and we need to make some incubators, because I don't want to put them onto the bus, ideally. Since it's like 1-to-1 anyway, to make them out of petri dishes, I'd rather just add more petri dishes to the bus than put on incubated petri dishes. So the incubators are here. Microorganism mines, I should say. They are here. I will need fluid mining drills. Oh boy, do I have any of those? Yeah, I do have a few of those hanging out that I can just use for this. And then I need air core inductors. Well, I can grab a few of those as air core inductors, and that can help speed this process up quite a bit, I would hope. Alright, that is the fastest. I will need to craft more fluid mining drills and the stuff that makes fluid mining drills if I wanted more. 8 should be plenty, considering we're using a whole of 0.06 of the incubated petri dishes for this part. It'll be a little bit more when I have to calculate the plasmid production for logistics science, because logistics science is also going to eat plasmids in the form of solidified sarcoris. It is 1/10 the amount, though, so I guess we'll be fine. I guess we'll just be fine with this as it is right here. I do need those microorg mines, though. That'll be step 1. So I guess we just do that. These are new, by the way, these lab instruments. This has been, I think, redone? These used to look different. They weren't blue before. Not like this, anyway. Yeah, lab instruments have been updated on their icons. The random icons. Alright, microorg mines. You. Here. Whoops. Yeah, that makes 0.4. It's a bit more than I need, but it's fine. You know what? It's so much more than I need that I am going to cut it down to 2. Okay. Just got to give it power and inputs. You know, those are important too. Ba. There you go. Ta-da! Plasmids. Your turn. Zogna. You gotta come say hello. I've gotta figure out where I'm gonna put you on here. So, that one's occupied. This one's not occupied. Right here. Or any of these. So, I'm thinking we're going here. Okay, that is the Zog. The Zog! A glorious Zogna. Next, glassware, laboratory instruments, and incubated petri dishes. So let's put those in there. Give it a little bit of power. Glassware and lab instruments. We've got those over here. Glassware and lab instruments. Go ahead and do that. And we're off to the races. Ta-da! Plasmids. On the bus. Along with everything else. I really should share some belts. Really need to share some belts. Because this is getting a little bit ridiculous. But we'll be fine. It will be fine. It'll be fine. Completely fine. Next, Retrovirus. The most retro of viruses. That eats lab instruments. And plasmids. No, not plasmids. Whoopsies. That eats lab instruments and glassware, so you know what? That goes right in there. Just like so. Just like so. I will need hot air. Hot air 100% required. Where is the hot air? I understand all I need to do is bloat and get some hot air going, but we need a bit more than my lungs can provide. Okay, steel and sprout cocoons and petri dishes. Ah, meow. Yes, baby. Baby dolly. Oh, this is fun. Hot air happens to be on the exact same line as the petri dishes. Okay, do I want to add the Vrauk or the steel? I think I'll add the steel. Since that works out pretty well. I am out of belt. Oh noes. Give a belt. Now all we need is Vrauk cocoons. Gee, I wonder where I put those. Here. I do not need Retrovirus for anything else other than cDNA, so this will be outputting directly into the gene lab that will make my cDNA. Which I said doesn't need to be automated, but it's gonna be automated, dang it. It's gonna get automated. Oh, right, I don't have moss gene samples here, so it's not going to be automated. Because I really don't feel like putting in moss gene samples. Or pulling down moss gene samples, I should say. Yeah, I'm gonna have a box here for the moss genes. Have I even put the biosamples? I think I have to do the same with biosamples as well. Yeah. You have to do the same with the biosamples. So these two, we need incubated petri dishes, of course. This is the other use for these. Oh, looky, of course I picked the wrong freaking thing. And we need glassware, lab instruments, and basic substrate. Oh, boy. Lab instruments, glassware, basic substrate. So basic substrate, that one's easy enough. I'll just bring it over. And in the glassware lab instruments will share a belt, which, you know, we've already got that infrastructure, so may as well copy paste it. Loader, huh? Loader looked wrong. It's fine. It automatically snaps. So just need to add biosamples and moss gene samples, and we're good. But because it's not necessary to be automated at this point in time, not fully automated. I could fully automate it. I don't need to, though. I'm just gonna leave it as is and grab biosamples and moss gene samples. So let's go. Let's go grab these samples and then figure out what we're going to do for the next, like, 35 minutes, 38 minutes, however long it takes. Oh boy. Here. Right here. Okay. Biosamples. Moss gene samples. These are going to be used to make cDNA, and that is going to be used to make a few OGs. Right off the bat. So, between streams, obviously, I've gone and I've made a few things to get towards getting into OGs here. I need to do the same with Relesia in, of course, a different building that's in botanical nurseries, and then I have to do the same for cotton guts as well, and that makes cotton guts studs. Cotton guts are different compared to other creatures, and we'll need a bit of work. Gosh, we've built this today. We built all that. Okay, throw that in. Throw that in. And that is glorious cDNA online. Huzzah! cDNA is happening. I need, like... And it happened before the 100-hour mark. Oh boy. So we get OGs directly out of... Where are you? This recipe. So we need 3 units of cDNA per OG. I'll need at minimum 2. As I said, I'll need at minimum 2, so I can actually make pups, and then... Oh god, that needs to cycle to make 8 pups. So you can just make infinity pups inherently. I'll have to look into the food, but yeah. From there, I have to have at least 1 OG, right? I'll have to have at least 1 OG in order to raise the pups in an OG paddock. So it's either I pull out the ones that are breeding to put into OG paddocks to grow the first 4 into 3 more OGs, or I just keep making more infinitely, or near enough infinitely. Yeah, cotton guts were much later previously, but now you need the solidified Sarcoris in order to make logistic science. And yeah, that's cotton guts. Need to set up cotton guts for that. Now, once I have cotton guts, like once I have studs, it's not all that much infrastructure for making the pups and making the cotton guts. In fact, you know, I'm realizing now that alien life, I hesitate to say this, but PyAE life has been simplified. It's been simplified. What do I mean by that? For animals, it seems now every single animal, be it whether it lays eggs or not, follows the same pattern for making more of them. It seems like they're all going to reproduce and make a young, be it eggs or pups, and then those eggs or pups hatch to the adult. Now, there are some that previously there was an extra step that had eggs into larvae and the larvae into adults. So there was an extra step on some of the later ones. And I'm going to imagine that they may have kept that. What was it? Was it Vonix? I think it was Vonix. Vonix come from Vonix eggs, but they have a Vonix cub from the eggs. So Vonix is a 3-step process. Because you are, reproductive complex making eggs. However, look at this. You lose your Vonix. It's 1 Vonix makes 6 eggs and it dies. Oh god. Oh boy. And you're spending an Aug and a Muckmo. You're spending an Aug, a Muckmo, and a Vonix to make 6 eggs. And then those eggs get raised into a ratio of 12 to 7.5 cubs. And then those cubs get raised into 4 into 2.5. Yeah, those numbers need to be looked at, because those are not good numbers at all. Is the Yotoi Aloe bedding in there? I don't see why bedding would have changed. But, yeah, Yotoi leaves. And then you get more by adding adding formic acid later. But yeah, wood, Yotoi, dried grod, and raw fiber. Yeah, that's not all that great. So I'm going to let that cycle for a bit. And we're going to work towards getting into mechanical parts and electronics. So Mark 1 mechanical parts. I need these for infrastructure. They're going to need a few things. We can see steel, rubber, small parts. Got them. We need brakes, we need control panels, gearboxes, shafts, and utility boxes. These are going to need a few things. These are going to need a few things. Now, note, cotton guts do not require bedding at all. Cotton guts will require fish. They'll require fish, and in fact, we need to get into fish. Fish is, like, next. Fish is now, actually, because we need fish oil to make gearboxes. You know, we need fish oil for gearboxes. So of these ingredients, what do I still need? I need batteries. Oh boy. Yeah, that's a thing. Oh god, this has to wait until after Augs. Right, so we're not going to be able to even make mechanical parts until after having Augs. I can set up a lot of it, but I can't actually get the mechanical parts until Augs, which is odd. Which means you can't get like tidal, I think it was tidal power plants, because they need mechanical parts. Yeah, you can't get these until after Augs. Now these other things, the nacelles, those use electronics Mark 1s. And the electronics Mark 1s can be made immediately. I can just make these now, because this is all stuff involved in making circuits. These are just basically circuits with different numbers, right? Like these are circuits with different numbers. So I don't really know why electronics exist when they're basically just circuits to begin with. But I could, at melamine resin, great, get that going, but melamine resin is melamine, is Augs still. So, okay, that means that these things are after Augs. These things are after Augs. These guys are fish. But I think I can make those. I can make these. VOTs. Yeah, vertical axis wind turbines. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I have all... Does it need this rotor? Rotor. Who needs a rotor? The horizontal axis wind turbine needs a rotor. But the VOT does not look like it needs a rotor. It uses the anemometer. So I could make a a VOT right now, the vertical one. I can make all the stuff for the vertical one. And I can make the aerial discharging base. I know I need fish. Like, no matter what, I need to make the fish. The fish is what I'm going to make now. But I'm just looking at, do I need Augs to make the, like, power producing building? I want to make some sort of a power producing building, or at least tell you that I can make a power producing building now that's different from what we could otherwise make, and it's something that I'm going to do between streams to just see how these work, right? And try to make a few of them and put them down. I doubt they're going to be any particular value, being Mark 1, but you never know. I may need 20,000 of them just to replace what I have now, but whatever, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And then things like the oil plants, those use mechanical parts, these use mechanical parts, these use mechanical parts. All of that is post Augs. Okay, then. So fish oil. I'm going to need at least a little bit of that. I think I also need the fish oil going into the logistics science as well. I think I need it for some foods. Well, I need fish eggs for some foods, but yeah, whatever. So fish oil. Let's have a look at you. I will need, let's say 5 or 10. So fishies. We need fishies. Fishies get raised. Oh, hey, there's my lamps. I will need lamps again. Fishies go in there. And they come from eggs. Raise the eggs. Eggs are in more fish farms. Glorious. That uses saline. I have saline. I will need phytoplankton in order to grow the fish. And at this phase of the game, we only have access to the grade 1 tin into phytoplankton recipe. This is significantly worse than flue gas. The flue gas recipe is, the recipe to use once you get access to it, but we don't have it at this phase of the game. So I will need to make some tin, grade 1, to do this. Oh yes, and there's biomass, so, I will need to figure out some biomass here. So, we're going to end up with bones, meat, skin, guts, etc. We could biomass all of that, or we could just get dedicated biomass from something. And that's something I've been contemplating this over time. As much as it hurts, I think it's tar. Yeah, here I was looking at the various options for producing biomass. I think the only good option is tar. Yeah, so there's no oil into biomass anymore. I forget how I used to get the biomass. But we could get it out of moss, we could get it out of wood, but those types of builds are massive, utterly massive. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to work towards now, is setting up fish. Remember, we don't need to actually get the initial fish, because we literally fish them out of the water. Have I built a composting plant is the question. I don't think I have. I am able to do so. I am able to build one. Oh look, steam engines and titanium. That's all I need. And I have pre-built the fish farms because I knew that this is what I wanted to do next. I will need 3 butchers though. So I'll need to build butchers, and I will need phytoplankton. May as well build that while I'm here. Okay, there's a butcher. Oh look, more circuits required. And small parts. And stone bricks. And iron. Alright, so that's the 3 of those, the 3 of those, and I need the single one of these, which needs steel. Glorious. This ignores the fact that I do need tin grade 1. Tin grade 1. Tin grade 1. Which is all being used to make tin right now. So, thoughts? Plans and schemes. What else do I need phytoplankton for? That is the question. What else uses it at this point in the game besides making fish eggs? A grand total of jack and all. So, I don't need very much. I'm just gonna split off from here. It's easier to run pipe than it is to run belt. Because it takes time for stuff to travel along a belt, and fluids, let's just say they move a lot faster per unit, per distance than solids do. I don't want to be waiting forever to run a 2,000 plus belt line all the way down here, when I could just run a pipe of phytoplankton down and over. That's going to require a bit of pipe to ground, though. I am not going to bother going to this tin and mining from this tin down here, which I should probably do, but oh well. Realistically speaking, I should have bespoke mining for tin that is processing to grade 1 tin that is going to be used to make phytoplankton. The reason why I don't want to do that is because I know that it is very, very temporary. The moment I get access to the ash flue gas recipe, I will use that instead across the board. So atomizing, I do have. I don't want to process tin. That's the key here. I really would not want to process the tin. I end up with 0.2 meat. Yes. Is the meat output enough to give me enough ore for the 0.16 tin? I doubt it. Highly doubt it. Like, extremely doubt it. Yeah, it would need to input more meat than we get in order to get the tin that I would need. It would need an input of meat. If it was self-contained, I would consider it, but it's not. So I'm not going to consider it. Even though I know that I have eventually Augs coming online, and I have already Vrauks online that are going to give me enough meat to do that, the Vrauks aren't always going to get processed. I'm not going to purposefully void my excess amounts of the formic acid to keep slaughtering Vrauk. That is fairly needless at this point in time. Better. Okay. So generally speaking, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have, as dirty as it seems, and as it actually is to do, I'm going to get whatever is the highest output of any individual item, like guts. I'm going to get the creature that gives me the most guts. I'm going to slaughter them, and I'm going to burn every other output. Every single other output besides guts. Why does it say I need 5 now? Because it was on computing by element rather than computing by matrix, and it didn't actually give me enough phytoplankton to begin with. Fantastic. I need more. I need more iron. The exception may be brains, because, yeah, there is 0% chance that I'm going to do Arthurian just for brains, even though they give me 2 brains. Yeah, there's no chance of that, since I do need brains before I get them, for one, and yeah, they don't give enough. Not at the start anyway. Maybe once I get like upgrades, enhanced brains, which I have no idea how that's been implemented. It may not even work currently, because in the tech tree there are technologies that are supposed to increase the output of the individual rendering products. But there are no more individual rendering recipes. They don't exist anymore. So either those texts need to be removed or some shenanigans are going on. And there are many full rendering recipes. And I don't think that there are many full rendering recipes, because I would see them in Hellmod. Like, the one that would work would be manure recipes. Those should work. So the VatBrain biocomputer still works. It's just I don't know what sciences it is used for anymore. I don't know if I can still VatBrain chemical science. No, there's no VatBrain for chemical science. What about the PySciences? PyScience 2 does not have an alternate recipe. PyScience 3 does not have an alternate recipe. Production does not have an alternate recipe. So, yeah, it would appear as if the VatBrain is just gone. Yeah, it would appear as if it just doesn't really exist. Even though the item technically still exists and is apparently unlocked at Biotechnology Machines, Stage 2. So maybe the VatBrain got a different purpose, but yeah, as it stands, there's nothing that uses it that I can tell. Ah, they moved antivirals. There it is. There it is. So they made it so that the VatBrain makes antivirals for whatever reason. Oh, goodness. I need pipe. Regular pipe. I don't need that. Ta-da! Power! There we go. And water. I need to build more water. Where'd I park? Park? Car? Car? Car. Right over here. Now to run a particularly long pipeline. Wow, I'm surprised that didn't break. Is still possible to go without alien life? I don't know. It should theoretically be possible to play without any one individual part of the mod set. Like, that's how it's sort of been designed, at least attempted to be designed around the concept of. is that you don't really need all of the parts, but then again, if you don't have all the parts, you don't have all the parts. You're not playing full Pyandons. So can you really say you're paying Pyandons mods if you don't have all the parts? It's an easier experience, that's for sure, but is that the point? But theoretically, it is possible. It hasn't been balanced around not having all of the pieces. Oh god, hitching. That would be ores spawning in. Oh goodness, the car is so slow. Going over this field. This lava field. When can I... Now. Back it up a little bit, actually. Bang. Bang, boom, pow. Because this counts as desert. That's why it's slowing me down. Yeah, it's got some speed penalties, and it applies them to the car. Because it's mean. Oh, now it's landfill time. Yeah, this is definitely a pipeline. Wish I didn't have to spend this much time just moving this pipe down, but whatever. It's gotta get done. Gotta get done at some point. May as well be now. Whoops. All water must die. All this stupid shallow water. We're here. We hath arrived. Oh boy. Good. Finally. Now, pin that. Who the heck uses it? The production of fish eggs uses it. So that is step the first. Glorious, beautiful fish eggs. I'm going to go and grab my fish. I don't need this spacing, but I'm doing it anyway. Okay, saline, which I've brought from my tar quenching. That's another thing I did between streams, by the way, is I replaced all of my all of the areas using saline with saline from tar quenching. Okay, question is, how many fish do I actually have? Because this is gonna need a few of them. That says 24. I had 20 total. So clearly I'm going to need to continue to scale this, but I would like to have it set up at least going into today. I've brought down the tar, right? Yes, the tar is down there. Just need to grab some fish. Now, I think I actually... Okay, there's 10 in there. But I think I have some elsewhere as well. Couple boxes with fish. Fishies. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, there's some over in this box as well. A whole 5. Oh boy. 5 entire fish to go along with the 10 entire fish down here. Now there's some more fish in this thing I can probably grab while I'm here. Hello, fish. That was seaweed. That was not fish. Now this is deeper water because this is the starting zone. 5 fish times 2. Nice. And another. Okay, I now have 40 fish. That is significantly better. Let's get back down there and get to work. Noting that 7 times 5 is a number that is less than 40. We're going to have a few left. A few left just to help us with actually making the fish in the next step. Because my nanobots are going to automatically throw all of my fish into these 5 that are making the fish eggs. So that's a thing. But I have to spend some fish, right? Yeah, I have to actually spend some fish too, so... Oh boy, this will be fun. This will be fun. Maybe we take a slight detour. Hey, shallow water. How you doing? Let's go fishing. There's fish out here in the shallows, even though I totally spawned no deep water at all. And I told the game not to spawn deep water at all. We still got plenty of shallow, thanks to alien biomes. So say thank you, alien biomes. You're doing work. Making sure I have enough fish. I have 150 fish now. That had better be enough. And I know that we've sort of reached the end of the stream here. I do want to at least put down these remaining buildings and get them some logistics going. You need oxygen. Oh boy. Oh, I'm laughing. Just a small amount. I have to laugh at that. Alright. Yeah, so nanobots went to assign these as modules, and what they ended up doing was putting them in the ingredient. They put them in as an ingredient. You know, because when you go to right click onto the building, if the building uses that item as an ingredient, the ingredient will take precedence over the modules. Yeah. In case you were not aware, that is absolutely a thing. It absolutely takes precedence. Oh, right, and you need more than 7 to actually start a cycle. Yeah, we'll do a couple cycles there. How many eggs are needed? 10. You produce 25. Okay, I think that's enough. I think that's enough eggs. And you may have noticed that we actually do need fish eggs separately. So yeah, that's going to end up on the bus. I do need to prioritize the output, though, for this. This will need oxygen. Why we need to oxygenate the water, I do not know. I also need to void bah. Really? Really? Oh god, that... Alright. We need to void the things. Actually, you know what? Put it up here. Oh, frick. Why did I not align these? You are not aligned. Come on, guys. Align. We need to move it literally one tile over. Yeah, align, please. Don't think I need that anymore. Yeah, there we go. That's better. That's better. Ta freaking da. Power. Whoops. Throughput is pretty low. Does still need the lamps and the biomass, but this is gonna stay as fish eggs on this line, I think, and I'll do shenanigans on the other side. Maybe. Or maybe I'll just add the lamps here. Oh boy. Oh boy. I need some stuff. So lamps. Hey. I need the lamps. Whoopsies. Oh boy. Move over. Oh boy. Okay, that works better. That doesn't work better. Okay, that's lamps. Oxygen. Well, this one's hydrogen. Right in here. So maybe the one next to the hydrogen can be the oxygen. But I have to go all the way here. Ahem. And I think that this is going to be faster than just putting down a... Do I have one? Do I have one? Where'd I park? Car? Do I have an electrolyzer? By chance? No. Can I build an electrolyzer by chance? No. Alright, well, you know what? It is actually going to be faster to just build another electrolyzer, especially when I only need 9 oxygen for this. So we'll do that. Want to get this done super quick. Oh good, I need 2 compost plants as well. That's gonna be fun. I'm gonna only place 1 for now, but just know that I will need 2. And I'll need 24 of the things. So what was it? Iron, steel... Iron, steel, more iron. Okay, more iron. There we go. Ta-da! Race back down. We're already 7 minutes past time. But I must get fish oil. I'll do the voiding separately, but I want this oil. I want it. I want it so much. Because everything else is just putting things together that we've already made. Oh, good. Hey, I was wondering when we were going to get one of those that I can, you know, hide. Whoops, did not want that. Wanted pipes. Okay, oxygen. Wait, what? Oh, right. Duh. Oxygen biomass. Okay. You there. You make that. Oh, right. I don't have any water. Avoid that. Water. Power. Oxygen. Just add biomass. Okay. Put this down. Somewhere. Here, I guess. Compost plant. It's huge! Oh boy. Pipe to ground. Pipe to ground. I don't have enough. And there's tar. And there's biomass. Get it out. And get it in there. And just as long as I have something like that times the number of buildings, I'll be able to paste an output belt just fine. That, frankly, is that. We're now able to produce fish. Of course, I will need to, you know, split the fish and get them preferentially going to the eggs production, because apparently the fish die. Oh, because of course they do. Of course the fish die. Why would the fish live? The fish die when they make their eggs. Alright, I can't get around it anymore. I have to actually get more belt. Because, you know, that's just what fish do. They lay a whole bunch of eggs and they die. Because surely that applies to all fish ever. It totally doesn't apply to all fish ever. It's very few fish actually do that. Ahem. Fish are actually a little weird. Oh, right, I have a whole bunch of these. I didn't need to worry about those. Fish are a little bit weird. There are some that, as they get older, will change sexes to become female. They'll start off life as male, and they'll just switch to being female when they get large enough. And others are completely capable of switching when there is a need. Okay, that's going to be the fish. Done. I have declared the fish are now officially done. The fish are officially done. Although it'll be a little weird needing all three, or needing the eggs as eggs in excess, and needing the fish as fish to kill like this for the production of the fish oil. Now all I care about is the fish oil here at this point. But I will need fish eggs for cotton gut later. Yeah, I'll just use these. I'm going to void all of this. Oh, goody, I got to the very end of my bus. So I'll need to extend that a bit. This makes meat, so I have to, like, copy... I have to go over here, I have to copy this shenaniganery. This stupid shenaniganery. So you have to dry the meat. You have to dry the meat, and then you can void it. And I don't need this line. It's like, then you have the privilege of voiding. That is not the correct thing. That is the correct thing. And this is fuel. It actually doesn't really matter what the fuel is. I could just do that. And we're good now. I will now have fish oil. That is fish oil. We are done with fish oil. For the moment. Between streams, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, scale to these numbers on the fish. That will happen. That will be the thing that I do ultimately. I shall do this thing. I shall get this feedback loop going. What I will also be doing is I will be making the first augs, and the first relesia, and the first cotton gut. First few, several of each of these, so that I have enough when we go into the next stream to set up the full builds. I have to look at them. The augs are so incredibly similar to the Brauk that I might just set up the augs, but not the manure, and we can set up the manure. Like, set up the augs to make augs, set up the cotton gut to make the cotton gut, set up the relesia, well, to make the relesia, but that like skips the whole thing, doesn't it? I don't know. I'll at least set up the first version, so we don't have to wait for the creature chamber and the botanical nursery to just make the first sets of things. yeah, the boss is going to be about yay long, probably. It's probably going to be about that long by the time we're done with it and wanting to move on to something else. Just a little long and wide of a boss. But yeah, we got cDNA today. Which means we got rubber today. That's convenient. We got into rubber. We got into borax. I'm going to do a few things with that borax. Just a few things with that borax. We got hot air as well. Probably not going to do much with the hot air, considering, yeah, it's you need a lot to process plates. Like, if I wanted to process a belt of iron with hot air to save on ore, I would need, like, that full thing that I just built. It would need 10 hot air. So it's like, no, I'd rather not. I am okay just mining a bit more, at least with iron and with copper. I am able to do better copper. Don't think I can do. Can I do molten? No, I can't not do molten copper yet. Yeah, we're not at that point for copper, but we are at that point on aluminium at least, and we're at that point on iron where we can go molten. So, yeah, I want to do molten casting on those, especially the aluminium, because that's limiting right now, and I want to get those animals. And as much as I would like to get into the Vought, we're gonna probably do that next time. Set up the pieces here and set up like augs and batteries and all of that. We're gonna make our way into mechanical parts. I think that's our goal on Tuesday. Even though it is a bit of a like side and aside compared to logistics science, because we don't need the mechanical parts to get into logistics science. I want to have them. I mean, theoretically, next stream I could get logistics science. Frankly, I could get into this. I could do all of this. Like, I can remove the boron trioxide from here, but yeah, like, this is all doable next time. Theoretically. I need to make that very specific. That's theoretically, and there is overlap between this and the mechanical parts. There's overlap in batteries and the melamine for the batteries, etc. And raising augs for making your manure for urea for melamine, or for urea for cyanic acid ammonia for melamine. But that's gonna be where I ended it for the day. I think I'm done. I are finished for today. With that, I would like to thank you all for watching. This has been a Otaku Show, and if you have enjoyed today's stream, please be sure to do all of the social and engagement stuff down below the video. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you have not yet subscribed, and hit the notification bell. Consider becoming a member of the channel by hitting the great big blue join button and supporting on Patreon at patreon.com/otakushow if you're so inclined and able. I'll be back with more on Tuesday, whether we get into mechanical parts or logistics science or both. I don't know. It's a lot of creatures to set up, so even if I do get it set up, I might not be moving anytime soon. Whatever, we'll work on all of that. We are 100 hours in. We'll see how many we are by the time I get back on Tuesday. I hope to see you all then.